Hi, I'm Tyler Kettle, and this is another reading of Stars and Stripes, Hold the Freedom. Just gonna jump into it. Trying to forget about the past, I click away from the article and look for something to distract me on YouTube. I glance over a few promising videos, like another Conan skit or an interview with Werner Herzog. Then I see a new speech from Donald Trump. I click on it, and a video of an aging Trump appears on the screen. Liver spots dot his forehead, no longer held back by his excessive use of orange spray lotion. He's standing at a podium, his small hands covered in a thick sheen of Big Mac sauce. Rows of armed eagle soldiers stand behind him. They have human features like fingers and torsos, except they have eagle heads and brown and white feathers all over their bodies. Those in the journalism community suspect that they come out of RFK Jr.'s Make America Healthy Again lab. But considering that the supposed lab depends on pseudoscience like tapeworms in the brain, it is no wonder that they can only say bro and tend to shoot themselves rather than enemy shoulders. A soldier told me about this, said they were even dumber than Donald Trump. It is so great that we are all together today, celebrating America, such a great country. Trump wipes his forehead with his palm, mixing orange spray lotion with Big Mac sauce. Soon will be even better after take Canada. Rip up that artificially drawn line and make Canada great again. Trump holds on the podium, setting himself. I mean, so many of them want this war to be over. That's what people tell me. Even their illegal and lying government wants that. They call me all the time, wanting to make a deal. I tell them, not until you send back those lying Democrats. Sanders, Biden, and Camilla. Filthy people. I want them all back. Then we can make a deal. So we make Canada great and free again, just like America. Trump holds his hands in the air, being met with applause. Drops of orange spray lotion and Big Mac sauce drip onto the podium. Having had enough of this, I take my headphones off and stare away from the computer. Rage flares up within me. What a fucking idiot. Does he not know that Canada has just taken Seattle? Has someone told him? Hey, Frankie, I have a question for you. And he calls out to Frankie, drawing his attention. This should be good. And I listen in their direction. What's that? Frankie types at his computer. Why did this girl add a smiley face at the end of her email? And he stabs the computer screen with his finger. Dude, hold up. What's the email about? Frankie turns away from his work. This probably wants to meet and talk about art. I guess someone must have mentioned something about me to her. But the smiley face. And he stabs the screen again. Could just be a smiley face. Frankie looks back at his screen. No, no, no. It's not just a smiley face. She clearly wants to date me. And he takes a bite out of his Pop Tart and a sip from his open can of Coca Cola. Who wouldn't want to date me? He asks as he spits Pop Tart crumbs onto the floor. Or, and he points a finger towards the ceiling. She's messing with me. It's a fake smiley. That must be it. He stares at the email. Frankie puts his head in his hands. You don't know if she wants to date you or not. It could also be a typo. Pff, she's playing games, and I won't stand for it. None of us should stand for it. Andy steps onto his desk while kicking off a empty bottle of Coca-Cola. Aren't you all tired of receiving messages like this? Andy points at the computer. Because so am I. Please stop making speeches from on top of your desk, Frankie says quietly. Andy ignores him. Aren't you all tired of being told it's fine or it's nothing? Or having your girlfriend tell you that she wants to have a threesome with you and her friend Steve because apparently he's a nice guy and you might really like him. Then after a fight, you agree and the threesome happens. But it's really just a two-way with you in the corner playing doodle jump on your phone. Then she breaks up with you and dates Steve because you don't listen to her. Andy takes a drink from his Coca-Cola can. No, no, it's time for resistance, fellas. It's time to push back. I'm going to send her two silent faces. Andy steps off the desk, sits down at his computer, and starts to type. No, three. No, I'm sending her a paragraph. Actually, two paragraphs. Andy hits a keyboard like a manic, escaped mental patient. Andy, let's not send that. Frankie pauses and looks over at me. Pete, a little help here? He asks. Take a breath. Trying to release the growing tension that had been growing in my body since the start of Andy's speech. Why do I always have to do this? Like last week when I had to persuade him that he shouldn't start a food fight at the Met Hall. I make my way over to Andy as he's writing out smiley face after smiley face. Hey, Andy. I approach his side. Oh, Pete, you coming over to help me in my righteous crusade? Andy keeps typing out the smiley faces. No, and the crusade runs out of righteous. Take a breath. Andy, do you think this is the best idea? I ask. Of course. Did you not hear my speech? Andy replies, I did, but why do you need to do this? I point at the screen. Because someone should stand up to the games. The smiley faces, how else will we change things? And he stops typing out smiley faces and is about to hit send. Okay, buddy, how do you think she's going to reply to that? I clasp my hands behind me, feeling my anxiety on the rise. Usually, he gives up by now. She'll feel slighted that I caught on her game. And he finally turns in his chair and looks at me. No, she won't. How would you feel if you got a paragraph of that? I wave my hand at the screen. And he places a finger on his chin, would feel maybe a little confused and weirded out. So that means, I stare at him. I really hope that he makes the connection that she would feel that way too. And he takes a breath, turns back to the computer, and deletes the smiley faces. Good choice. Pat his shoulder. Tell her that you'll meet her, and don't think that it's a date. And he nods and starts to type out a fairly adult sounding email. And don't be yourself, Frankie adds. A loud crash and a groan of pain reach our ears from outside our door. What was that? Frankie asks as we all go to the door, open it, and find Melvin, our sergeant, lying at the bottom of the stairs. He's short and thin and only a few years older than us. A few tears mar his once pristine uniform. His shoulder looks as if it's out of his socket. A large, circular metal box lies next to him. Instantly, Frankie and I run to his side as a sense of worry sits in my mind. Hey, Melvin, did you fall? Frankie leans down to him, patting his shoulder. Annie leans against the doorframe, watching with his arms folded. Of course I did, Private Rogers. What does it look like? And you're supposed to call me Sergeant Shockley. Jesus, how many times do I have to remind you? Melvin struggles to stand up, grunting in pain. Frankie and I try to help him. Melvin pushes our hands away. No, I don't need your help. He rises to his feet, a few drops of sweat falling from his forehead. How'd you fall? I asked. Probably had his head so far up his own asshole he couldn't see where he's going. Annie interjects. Private Jackson, that's the 13th insubordinate comment you this week. How many times do I have to write you up before you become a upstanding soldier? Melvin stares at Andy with his hands on his hips. Want me to guess? I'd say perhaps a million. Maybe more. Who knows? Really. Andy takes a step towards Melvin, answering his stare of one of his own. Seriously, Melvin, how did you fall? I interrupt the developing dick measuring contest. I slipped, and it's Sergeant, whatever. Melvin leans down to the circular object and tries to lift it, moaning in pain as he does it. Here, let us help you. I join him, as does Frankie. We both grab onto the box. The mission parameters clearly state that I am to bring the object down here. Melvin attempts to pull the container away from us. We yank it away and pick it up. It's surprisingly heavy. Privates, let go of that thing. Melvin yells at us as we bring the object into our basement. Andy steps aside for us and sits down at his desk. Frankie and I ignore Melvin setting the box down in the press room. Jesus, I've been down here for only a minute, and I must already write up each of you. Melvin falls us in, his hands on his hips. We'll add it to the pile. And he takes a bite out of the half-eaten Pop-Tart and puts his feet on his desk. Melvin, I start to say and catch myself. Sergeant Melvin, what's in the box? I look over the container as Frankie does the same. What's in the box? And he says in his best Brad Pitt impression. You'll see in a moment. And why aren't any of you in proper uniform? Especially you, Andy. Melvin points a clearly broken finger at Andy as he walks over to him. Look at the state of your desk. How many times do we need to talk about this mess? A lot, it seems. Andy takes another bite of his Pop-Tart. Andy, this is not a good day for this, and not a good look for unit. Frankie turns away. All of you, stand at attention behind your desks. Yours, as he leans down to unpack whatever is in the container. He's still grunting in pain, but not as loudly as before. He seems to favor his other arm over his uninjured one. Frankie and I comply, standing at attention. Andy hasn't moved, except to take bites from his Pop-Tart. Andy, do what he says, tell him. Feel some anxiety falling on me. Not until I finish my Pop-Tart. And he replies and takes a sip from his open bottle of Coca-Cola and my drink. I give up as I stand there and silence enters the room. Something feels different about today. What's in the box? Why does it feel like it won't be something good? Also, why does Andy have to be so Andy right now? With sweat coating his forehead and peering into his armpits, Melvin pulls out a thick, circular disc and places it on the ground. A few buttons run alongside the rim. Yeah, I don't think this is good.